Hey Biz, great video. I saw you were having a bit of a problem with the trading hall, which I'm aware of, but I've yet to put a fix out. So I thought I'd do one uh, just for you, really. What it is, what the problem is, when you've got only one space at the end, the villagers tend to fall down. Can I show you without ruining? Yes, I can. The village, if that was open as well, if that villager wasn't there, they'd come across the top, and the first one would fall down, and it would land in that space, and then the next one would come along and land in the space next to it. However, if there's a villager already there, he comes along the top, as you know, and before he falls down that gap, he lands on this rail. Now there's a straightforward fix for it, but I haven't done it because you have to mess about quite a bit. First of all, you need to extend this water chute. So if we stick that in there and just get rid of that one for the time being. And then put the water from there. Because what we need to do is we need to move this line. We need to move this line here. And before we do that, we need to put an extra fence gate just there. Now that's the key. That's what's going to make the villagers fall down into that base. So you need to put a fence gate there, leave it closed. And then you just need to finesse these rails round a little bit. So you need to start them over here. All fingers and thumbs at the moment. Okay, like that. And then just put a bit of power just there. So now what happens is, obviously they're going to suffocate if they go in there. That's better. So now what's going to happen is, when we put some water back in here again, we need to go, because there's nothing here to stop the water from going all the way over the end, we need to make sure that the water stops here. So we need to count 8 blocks back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to put the sign in just there. And that way now, when the water goes in there, it's not going to go out and destroy these rails. Okay, it stops right at the end. And then we need another one in there. So now any minecart that comes into the water chute is going to go over and fall into the last one, because there's an extra fence gate there. Let's just get a villager in the system just so we can see this. I'll fast forward this a little bit for you. Okay, so it's getting to the end, it's getting to the last bay. And because of the fence gate we've just put in, means it'll fall straight into that bay there. So that's the little fix to just get the villagers to always fall into the end bay. Okay, so just to recap. Make sure you need to pop out this block and move the rails back. Put a fence gate in there at the end of this line of fence gates, and move the water so that it just comes to the very end. And as I say, be careful with this water, because if water and rails, you know, don't mix. So just be careful when you're putting the water in, that you're always 8 blocks back from this rail. But it will mean you putting an extra sign in there, which is a shame. Now to fix this bit here, where your villagers are shooting out and going straight over the first fence gate, you need to bring the rails up you need to raise the rails up by a couple of blocks and then put a stopper block there. So as the villagers shoot off the end, they hit the stopper block and then fall straight down. Okay, if the block wasn't there, they'll come off and they'll jump 2 or 3 blocks straight out, so they'll miss the first one. But you can't put a stopper block lower than 2 blocks. You couldn't put one there, for example, because then your villagers would fall down here and then they'd suffocate. Okay, so always make sure you've got at least a 3 block gap. You need 3 blocks before you have your stopper block. Otherwise, your villagers are going to fall down here and suffocate. Okay, so that's how you get them to fall into the first bay, and that's how you get them to fall into the last bay. So Biz, I hope that helps, and I hope you continue enjoying my videos.